Okay. Good day, y'all. Wherever it is, your place in the world, I hope that you are enjoying some amazing caffeine. Cheers. Caffeine is AKA productivity juice for business owners. Every week I come on and I have conversations around business and how businesses can be amplified by marketing, specifically free marketing. Free marketing we get to do on the back of social media. I also show up because I teach classes and I have conversations based on one thing, and that's you. Like your questions and your ideas. Now, I have to say that I have the honor and privilege of being CEO of Social Curator. This means that over the past 3 years, I've helped tens of thousands of business owners market their business. Now, that's not to talk about that, other than to let you know that I have conversations with tens of thousands of business owners every month. And so what I get to do and what the team gets to do is look at what are the trends that are happening with small businesses as they market themselves. What are the trends that are happening on social media? What is getting the greatest impact for the least amount of work? And then what are the long-term bigger strategies and visions? So this conversation is going to be a distillation of things that we have learned in the past 3 to 4 months. This is going to be like the newest, the hottest, the best, the most strategic approach on how to market your business. So we're going to get into a particular topic right about now, how to create a hashtag strategy for your business. Yes, I know that the front of this keynote is my face on the phone, so it's like we can create a mirror image. That's kind of awkward. Okay, let's get in, and I'm going to talk about getting real for a second. Sometimes as business owners, we put out content and it feels like we're invisible. It feels like our content is going out and then just falling a little flat. Now, there is a strategy to help you. Now, we want to help you increase your discoverability, and we want your stuff to get seen on social media. So if you say, hey, that's me, how is she speaking to me? Drop like a yes in the chat. Now, I know that you get annoyed because you're probably watching this on the go or just you don't really want to type it in. But here's the thing, whenever you leave a comment, it just reminds me that it's just not me and my mom or my little sister watching this live, because the only people I hear from in real life are my mom and my little sister. So shout out to Zoe and Millie. Y'all are the real OGs. And then anybody else who wants to be an OG, drop yes, because your girl gets a little lonely up in here. So let's talk about what this strategy will be moving in specifically into 2022. And yes, hashtags are alive and well. Now, I know whenever we talk about hashtags, specifically hashtags on Instagram. When we talk about hashtags specifically on Instagram, people are like, yeah, but Jasmine, are they still necessary? And the question then begs, necessary? Maybe not. Helpful? Very much so. You do not need to use hashtags to get seen in the algorithm. Not at all. Good content gets seen. Good content doesn't need hacks. But hashtags, they're not a hack. They're helpful. So necessary? No. Helpful? Heck yes. Because people want to discover you. People want the thing that you're selling. So why not make it easier for them to discover the thing that you're selling? So what I'm going to break down for you is a 4-step strategy. This is what we teach on the inside of Social Curator. This is what I'm going to be sharing a very high level with you today. So this exact strategy, what we're going to talk about specifically when it comes to the hashtag strategy, in October 2019, Social Curator started, was it 2019, 2020? I think it was 2020. Yeah. I'm like, look at me. I'm like, back in my day, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I needed another sip of coffee. Social Curator started an Instagram account at Social Curators with 0 followers. We decided to deploy our content strategy, our 7 content ideas, and then secondly, a hashtag strategy. And with less than 2 months, it was not even 2 months, we had hit 10,000 followers. So I want to walk you through what those 4 steps are. Number 1, to identify your ideal client. And this is where everyone's like, no, too busy. I can't do this. And it's a little bit difficult for me to actually talk about this because every great strategy, I do not care if you are the top 1% of businesses worldwide. I do not care if you're a 500, Fortune 500 or Inc. top 20. I don't care if you're boiling wax in your grandpappy's basement for candles. The way that content is created, the way that goods are sold, the way that you create a small group of people to really love and talk about your business is by knowing who the heck you're talking to. Your ideal client is going to be the thing that will move your business forward. Step number 2, we want you to create caption categories. and a set of hashtags that go for each category. Now, I teach live classes all the time. These videos go up on YouTube. It's very common for me to explain. In fact, just last week, I had taught a class on 7 caption categories. These are 7 caption categories for you to use to never run out of things to say. So those caption categories, we recommend coming up with a small selection of hashtags that can be used interchangeably based on the topic that you are talking about. Now, to be very clear, hold on. To be very, very clear, I am definitely not saying to copy and paste the same hashtags. No. What I am recommending is to have small groups of hashtags that you could be interchanging depending on what you are posting. So let's go in. Now, one of the 7 caption categories on the inside of Social Curator is encouragement. It is an encouragement category. Great. So encouragement caption category, hashtags. Now, who are we actually talking about? Well, for example, let's use a budget coach, a financial coach, a budgeting coach. And his ideal client is a 27-year-old woman who loves to travel. Great. Now we know the business owner. Now we know who the business is targeting. So a few hashtags according to the category and ideal client. Hashtag daily encouragement. Hashtag dream big dreams. Remember, they're trying to get out of debt, or they want to travel, they want to do things on a budget. And then hashtag encouragement for the day. Now, you might be saying, what is a budgeting coach using encouragement for the day? Well, according to the Social Curator caption category, we know that this is proven for engagement. So we're going to have a certain section of interchangeable hashtags for us to use so that we work smarter, not harder. Now, in step 3 of our 3-part strategy, we're going to choose visual hashtags, right? Visual hashtags are things that are in the post that somebody could see, and then when it shows up on a feed, it makes sense. Now, remember, we're still using the budgeting coach, and his dream customer is a 27-year-old woman who loves to travel. But remember, she's on a budget, she wants to get out of debt. So what we're looking at, let's use this as an example. Let's say that the budgeting coach uses this photo. Please do not use the hashtag beach. Please do not use the hashtag sand, right? We want to make sure that we're using hashtags that this dream customer may be searching for as she wants to plan a vacation. So visual hashtags, hashtag wanderlusters. Like, this is wanderlust, this is travel. Hashtag cheap travel. Hashtag beach trip. So what we're doing is we're using hashtags that visually make sense with this photo, but then also would be something that the dream customer is looking for. Now we're going to get into step number 4, which is to choose content hashtags. Now, this is based on what you're writing in your copy and in your caption. And word to the wise for everybody who says, people don't read like my short caption or my long captions. I can't even be mean. Hold on. Let me try it again. People don't even read my long captions. Who reads long captions on Instagram? People do. People who want to spend money, they'll read captions. And your caption is the ability to set you apart from your competition. Because if, in this example, you are a budgeting coach and you want to teach people how to travel for less expensive, guess what, honey? There's 100,000 other budgeting coaches out on the interwebs. There's free content and people can book their own dang thing. Why are they going to pay you? Same thing. If you're a photographer, if you're a dog walker, if you're a jewelry maker, if you sell essential oils, everybody can buy the same thing from somebody else. So why would we choose you? Oh, because the copy that you create helps us connect with you. Helps us choose you, helps us pay more, wait longer, drive farther, and then become evangelists on top of it. That's what good captions do. That's what connecting with your audience does. Okay, so now let's go back into choosing our content hashtags. Remember, we're going back and we're working with the budgeting coach whose dream customer is a 27-year-old woman who loves to travel. So the content, right? What we're going to write this social media post about is how to use a savings account to help you pay for your next vacation. That's what we're talking about, right? So we're going to be working on this. And then the content hashtags, things that related to the thing that we wrote. Hashtag savings goals, hashtag savings tips, hashtag spend less. Okay, so you're like, Jasmine, these are all hashtags according to a photo of a picture that has wanderlusters and travel for cheap and saving tips and I'm a budgeting coach. How does this all work together? Remember, hashtags help you get discovered. They don't guarantee engagement and they don't guarantee a sale. So how then do you guarantee engagement and guarantee a sale? well, first, let's recap the 4-part hashtag strategy to ensure we're on the same page. Step number 1, do the work very few people do, and that's to identify your ideal client. Y'all, do this work, please. Number 2, create caption categories and a set of hashtags for each category. Step number 3, to choose visual hashtags. And step number 4, to choose content hashtags. And the thing that's going to be most important is to engage. Engaging on the hashtags that you use helps your account get discovered by people who are most likely your dream customer. And the good news is, if we've walked through this process and you're kind of like, well, Jasmine, I want to know how to build out my ideal client, but I try and I get frustrated and then I can't even give my dream client a name. I was actually talking to a business owner 2 days ago and they're like, Jasmine, I tried following this, but I couldn't even get past like the first objective, which is to give my dream customer a name. And because I couldn't name my dream customer, I just gave up. You gave up because you couldn't come up with a name? Name this person X. Name this person Apple. Just name this person anything to move forward with the process. And the good news with all of this is that Social Curator builds content and resources to ensure that it's happening for you and with you. In fact, this particular month, we are focusing on how to create a hashtag strategy for your business. But guess what? We can't help you create a hashtag strategy for your business if you don't know who you're selling to. Hey, I got my hoops, I got my attitude, and I'm just speaking the truth. If you're hearing this and you're like, I'm offended. If you're offended to take action and find your dream customer, cheers. Okay, so inside of issue 53, what you're going to find to ensure that you're actually getting the things to do the work and make it easier is a detailed action plan. This is coming action steps to help you create a hashtag strategy specific to your business. You're going to get step-by-step instructions on how to identify your ideal client. You're going to have example hashtag sets for product-based businesses and service-based businesses. Now remember, we're using data and analytics and feedback from our current business owners to build out what we can do at scale. Amen. And then we're going to get into the hot topics of FAQs around hashtags, what to do, what not to do, how not to waste your time. Okay, so you are going to get all of that in addition to everything that comes with Social Curator every month. These are lifestyle photos, a gallery of over 4,000. You're going to be getting customizable caption templates. You know those 7 caption categories that I talked about? What would it look like to have caption templates that fall into those categories? You'll have story templates, and you're going to have daily actions, 5 minutes every day to help you market your business. You're going to know what to do, how to do it. Pop in, get the work done, go out your business, and continue to get sales. If you like this style of conversation, I call them a loving kick in the pants. I do group coaching on the inside every single month. I pop in for 2 live classes on the inside of Social Curator. We have guest master classes. We have accountability coaching calls. And we also have caption writing classes for people who want to go deeper with learning how to write about their business. I would love to see y'all at socialcurator.com/join. What we're going to do is some live Q&A. So let's get this party started. Okay, so Tiffany Rodriguez, this is great. I always hashtag what is in the photo and not what I'm trying to reach. Ooh, girl, you're welcome. When people talk about, Jasmine, how do I get discovered? Well, we don't want to be discovered for what is exactly in the photo. We want to be discovered for what we ultimately want to sell. That's going to be the main difference as business owners using hashtags on social media. Okay, so let's go into, Donna asked, how else do you get discovered by new people besides hashtags? Well, one of the foundational things that I believe, that I practice, and that what we teach on the inside of Social Curator is that engagement is the fastest way to discoverability. Period, the end. Hashtags help you get discovered, sure, but engaging, that's powerful because you're not just getting discovered by the person who you left that comment on that account, right? You're not just getting discovered by that person. You're getting discovered by that person who on that account and then other people who happen to see your account and be like, hey, who is this person? Like, let me just check this person out. You never know who you're going to connect with or what you're going to get on the back of doing really powerful research. Okay. What is the right number of hashtags to use for your post? A bit ago, Instagram came out and said, oh, we recommend using 5 to 7 hashtags. This was Instagram creators. They listed that. And then all of a sudden, everybody got into a tizzy. Oh, Instagram says you shouldn't be doing 30 hashtags. You shouldn't be doing this. No, they didn't say that. Instagram creators account mentioned that 5 to 7 hashtags would be effective. But I believe the reason why they said 5 to 7 would be effective is because people were using 30 ineffective hashtags. People who are just like, I just want to be discovered. I just want to go. I'm going to be hashtagging J-Lo, Beyonce, and A-Rod. I just want to be in everybody's mix. But if your post had nothing to do with what your hashtags were, the search yielded terrible results. So Instagram's just like, listen, we want hashtags to actually be the thing that people are searching for. So what we teach on the Inside of Social Curator is we don't say always use 30, but we also say only use 5. We say have a strategy around the hashtags that pertain to your post so that when somebody goes to that hashtag, number one, they're following and getting engagement because you're speaking their language, you're selling something powerful, it makes sense why you're in that hashtag. So one thing as a point of clarity is there was a point in time where people would say, should I put the hashtags in my caption or should I put it in the comment? And before it didn't matter, but Instagram has come out and stated that if you want that post to appear in a hashtag search, the hashtags have to appear in the caption and not the comment. Okay, so Michelle Rufer asked, what's the best way to interact with hashtags? How do you bring over to DM? Well, Michelle, the best way to engage with hashtags is to build trust. Before somebody sends me a DM or before I send somebody a DM who I have no contact with or no connection, if I happen to find that person on a hashtag, the first thing I do is I like 3 of their photos and then I leave a comment or 2 on their posts. That's what I do. Because by you liking and leaving a comment, it's the equivalent of walking down the street and saying, howdy neighbor. That's what you're doing. In fact, this morning, I followed somebody new, and you want to know what I did? I liked 3 photos and I left a comment. Why? Howdy, neighbor. I'm not going to follow somebody, go into their DMs and be like, hey, what's up? What are you doing this weekend? I could, but for somebody who's a complete stranger, that's like me going up to somebody's house. Hey, neighbor, want to have a kickback? You bring the White Claw. That's a little too much too soon, right? Okay, so I believe direct messages are powerful for sales and conversions. But far before you get to that point in the conversation, you have to build trust. And I am telling you, comments and liking build that trust. You ask questions. And then once this person is somewhat familiar with you, taking it to DM. Now, when you say, well, how long does it take for somebody to become somewhat familiar with me? That's on you, honey. How many comments are you going to leave? How consistent are you going to be? How much value are you going to give? The more you do that with more frequency, DM it. If it takes you 2 months or if it takes you 2 weeks, it's on you. What is wrong with me? Did I come in with an attitude? Did I wake up on the wrong side of the bed? I did. You're fine. I did. And I'm okay with it. I don't apologize for being me. Remember, it's the internet. You came here. I didn't come to you. Okay, so Lisa asked, what about Facebook? And I think that she's asking about what about hashtags on Facebook? You know, you could use hashtags on Facebook. They're just not as effective remotely as they are on Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, Twitter. No, those platforms were built for searchability. Facebook was built for connectivity. And so just that small difference alone, I just don't think they're all that effective. I have tried searching on hashtags for Facebook and it will yield results. But the results are weird. Like they're old, they're random, they're part of like these like Facebook groups that I probably would never join. So you could use them. I'm just not like the biggest proponent. If you're gonna use a hashtag strategy, I think you should use it according to a platform that really endorses, uses, and advocates for hashtag use. Okay, so somebody had asked, are there platforms that you shouldn't be using hashtags on? And I kind of just asked that right now. So Simone says, is it effective to use hashtags on stories? You can absolutely use hashtags on stories, but before we dive into like the actual workings of that, always remember that stories disappear in 24 hours. So while you could use that hashtag, the only time you can get discovered from that hashtag is in the 24 hours. But here's the thing that you also have to like think about and function is if you're using a hashtag in stories, that if I were viewing your story and I clicked on that hashtag, I would be taken to the hashtag feed. So I would be seeing other people's posts using that hashtag, but I wouldn't see other stories. In order for me to see other stories using that hashtag, I would have to click on your hashtag, go over to the hashtag feed, then I would have to click in the upper left-hand corner to go to the stories for that hashtag. Now remember, only 24 hours I could be discovered in the stories of that. So you can, and they're effective, but they're just not half as effective as using a hashtag in the caption that pertains to the photo, the content, and what you sell in a post that lives on your feed. Okay, so there's a couple other things that were coming up, but Tiffany Rodriguez asked, is it true that you should have more followers than the amount that follow you? No. Whoever told you that, unfollow them. Like, I really mean that. Like, I'm your homegirl. You could follow 10,000 people and have 10 people follow you. This doesn't matter. Want to know what matters? All right. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to pin my hair back because I'm getting hot and bothered. All right. Here we go. See, you know you thug when you could peel your hair back without a rubber band. I was like, I command you to sit back. Want to know what matters? If you follow 10,000 people and you have 100 people follow you, if you have 10 people who like or comment on your post with 100 followers, it is better than somebody who has 10,000 followers and has 10 people like and comment. The number of people you follow has no jurisdiction and no diction around what it is you do. Your objective is to serve the 100 people that are on your account. That's it. You wake up every day and do not ask, how do I get the next 100 or the next 100,000? You wake up every single day and you say, there's 100 people who are here and they care about what I have to say. Serve the 100. Hell, serve the one. Because before you get to 100, you have to have one. And the way that you get from 1 to 100 is to care about the 1, and then you care about the 2, and then you care about the 4, and you care about the 8. You will never speak to 100,000 people if you are not above speaking to the 1 or the 100. So anybody who tells you that you should have more followers than you follow is dang tripping. They're feeding their ego, they care about vanity metrics, and they're so concerned about what other people think. Do you think that I would be offended or feel less than if I followed 1 million people on Instagram and only had 10 people follow me? Heck no. Who I consume and what I watch has nothing to do with how I'm going to be successful as a business owner or how I serve. Please, honey. And on that happy note, ladies and gentlemen, hold on, let me go back. See? That was like, shoo. Jasmine pulled back her hair. Jasmine Star is back, and we're here to talk about social media tips. Listen, I'll deal it to you straight every single day and twice on Sunday. I go live because I freaking care about people. I share free content because I freaking care about people. I want the small person to win. That's just it. And the small people often are the people who follow more than they have followers. And you know what? I'm here to serve you. I would love to do group coaching with you on the inside of Social Curator. Let's continue the conversations. If the answer for you is right now, as you're watching, you're saying, nope, I'm not gonna follow her. I'm not gonna join this thing. Guess what? Good news. I don't hear it as no. I hear it as not right now. My job is to smother you in good content, to build relationships and trust. And if not today, and if not tomorrow, might be next week. Or next year, or 4 years from now. Guess what? I'll still be here, baby boo. I'll still be here serving well and doing the best I can. I hope you have a beautiful day, friends. Take care. Bye, y'all.